Oh, excuse me. It's disgusting and unexpected. Anyway, it's time for another episode of But I Know I Love You, and talk about loving somebody for who they are unconditionally. Yeah. Some spouses get grossed out when you burp a little bit, but we wouldn't know what that's like because we don't do those things in front of other people, do we? Okay, anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode. Baby makes 3. Okay.
Baby makes 3. On November 11th, just about a month after he was born, Gavin was finally big enough to come home. His original due date had been November 27th, so he was still tiny, but he no longer needed round-the-clock nursing. It was a day that I had both been waiting for and dreading at the same time. While Gavin was in the hospital, I knew he was safe, but when he came home, all that responsibility was going to fall on me. The NICU nurses assured me that I was better prepared than most new moms, but it was still nerve-wracking. That day, Camre came with me to the hospital. We parked my white Silverado crew cab with the brand new car seat in the back and walked into the NICU. We stopped at the scrub station, and I realized that this was the last time that I was going to have to scrub up before holding Gavin. "You ready to take your baby home?" the nurse asked. "As ready as I can be," I laughed. But I still have a million questions. I knew the entire job of parenting was going to be on my shoulders, so we sat down and went over everything I could think of one more time. Everything from changing diapers to figuring out if he were sick. I checked and double-checked how to mix his formula and how much to feed him at a time. I made sure I knew how to hold up his head so it didn't wobble. I made the nurses show me how to bathe him. Finally, the nurse said the heart-stopping words, "Okay, you're ready to go." Now, all this time Camre was with me, but she really wasn't paying much attention. I'm not sure if she really understood that Gavin was coming home with us. As the nurses tucked Gavin into the car seat, I felt like we were baby birds flying the nest and going out on our own. At the last minute, I put the little monkey hat from the shower on his head. Camre smiled at the sight, even though I knew she didn't remember seeing it before. I was smiling from ear to ear as I walked out of that hospital with Gavin in his car seat and Camre by my side. Yet my heart was racing too, because I knew that we all faced a tough road ahead. Nevertheless, I wasn't going to let it faze me. I believe that God only gives you what you can handle, but apparently He thinks I can handle a lot. So I put my faith in God and moved forward. "You've got this," I told myself as I put Gavin in the back seat. "You can handle it. You can do this. Just take it one day at a time." I made sure he was secure about 50 million times and triple-checked everything else. Camre buckled herself in next to him, and we began the drive home. My dad always used to tell me that he drove about 5 miles an hour when he brought me home from the hospital, and in the back of my mind, the thought kicked in, "Oh, wow, I'm the dad now." I white-knuckled the steering wheel all the way to our house. I drove a little faster than 5 miles an hour, but not much. Camre was with us, physically, but she wasn't there mentally. She had no idea where we were going, and I'm pretty sure she didn't understand that Gavin was her baby yet. We drove down our driveway and parked in front of the house. I had hung a "It's a boy, welcome Gavin" sign on the porch. I pointed it to Camre. Once again she smiled, but it was clear she didn't understand the meaning. I got out, opened the back door of the truck so she could get out, and then picked up Gavin. We walked directly through the kitchen to the nursery. I took him out of the car seat as Camre watched, and then I started showing him the house. "Hey, buddy, Look, this is your new house. Welcome home. This is going to be your bedroom. This is the living room. See, it looks right out on the lake. All the time, Camre followed us, but she really didn't say anything. Once we finished the tour, I helped Camre sit in the rocking chair we had and put Gavin in her arms. She held him close and began to rock him back and forth gently. I was struck by how surreal the moment was. I had just brought my son home. My fiancée had no memory of giving birth. She didn't even really understand that she was holding her own baby, but she was smiling and rocking him. From the outside, it looked like we were just a normal, everyday family, but we weren't normal at all. A little later in the day, Camre's parents came over. They visited for a few minutes before taking Camre home with them. That had been the plan all along, but when they left, it was harder than I expected. I watched them pull out of the driveway and realized it was just Gavin and me. I was on my own, alone with a newborn. As I headed to the kitchen to fix him a bottle, I said, "Don't worry, buddy, I've got this." I think I was talking to myself as much as I was talking to him. Camre's parents brought her over to spend the next day, which was a Sunday, with Gavin and me. When they all went home, we were alone again that second night. I had to go to work on Monday, so my mom took a week's vacation to help us out. The first week, she would come to my house in the morning and watch Gavin during the day. After work, I'd either go pick up Camre and bring her to the house, or her parents would bring her over. Then, at night, she would go back to her parents' house. At that time, and for a long time afterwards, she thought that her parents' house was her house. She was uncomfortable and maybe even a little scared to spend the night with me because I was essentially a stranger. While it was hard, I understood. It was like she was going on a first date every single time she saw me. A first date with the ever-present possibility of a sleepover. After a couple of weeks, I decided that this wasn't the healthiest arrangement for any of us. It wasn't so much the need for intimacy as it was the need to begin creating a more normal family routine. Soon I realized that the longer the situation went on as it was, the harder it was going to be on all of us to make the change. One evening, when I picked her up, I broke the news to the family. Camre is coming home with me, and she's going to stay with us at night. "Are you sure about that?" her mom asked. Her mom had become very protective of her daughter. "Yes, I'm sure. I know that Camre wanted to be a mom more than anything, so we've got to start living as a family as much as we can." "But Camre can't stay alone with Gavin when you're working. She can't take care of him. She can't take care of herself." "That's true, but what I was thinking was that Camre would spend the evenings and nights with me, and then Gavin and she would come to your house during the day. If you're willing to do that, then they'll be safe until I can take care of them." Her mom was all on board with that plan. "Camre, I agree with Steve. I think it would be a good idea for you to start spending the nights at your house. He is your fiancé. You need to be a family." I'm not sure if Camre really understood what all that meant, but she was always cheerful and agreeable, so she didn't object. That afternoon, we came home to spend our first night together as a family. We have been together ever since.
Okay, so I know a lot of you are on the edge of your seat waiting for other chapters to come out. And of course, if you can't wait, there's a link to the book to buy it on Amazon and read it for yourself. Or you can wait for the next episode, which shouldn't be too long because it's already been recorded. And, yeah. That's all I got. Okay. And Happy Meal's coming too. Gotta get those opened up. We got Happy Meal. And whips and finishes and all that other stuff. Yeah, okay. See you soon.